A Bangladeshi funny guy, Asifuzzaman, also a memer probably. He constantly makes jokes about Islam, making statements, and many people thinks it's funny. Maybe, maybe some of his controversial statements are just to attract more people and get more reaction on his post and stuff. But I had to respond for one of his statements that came to my feed, where he was saying that Islam prohibits amusements like music, dancing, drawing, but it allows people to marry for. So many people found it funny. Many people were very offended by the statements. But I think I need to respond to this. When I was um, starting my journey as a Muslim, I also were confused that why Islam prohibited music. What's wrong with music? And I knew many people, I still know many people who listen to music and don't understand that why Islam prohibited music. The reason Islam prohibited music is because you cannot have music and Quran in your heart in the same place at the same time. This will be understood by someone who is a practicing Muslim. If you are a practicing Muslim and you pray 5 times a day and you listen to music, it will be very difficult for you to concentrate on your prayers and remembrance of Allah. When you pray, you have to have total submission to Allah and you have to put total concentration on that salah. But for a music listener, it is very difficult for them to concentrate. I faced the same issue, and I realized that it is because of my habit of listening to music. And the time from the time I stopped listening to music, I immediately noticed that my concentration on prayer improved and I felt more closer to God. Listening to music will make you more interested towards sin, and it will create a space for your heart for shaitan. And if you listen to Quran, the opposite will happen. There are opposite effects. And I promise you, the more you listen to music, the more you will be distant from God, because there are actually scientific proof. I don't need scientific proof because I already experienced this through my prayer, and I am putting scientific proof for people who are not practicing and who wants to understand. There is a research that actually tells you that listening the people or the individual who listen to music are more prone to depression, anxiety from the people who are less prone to music or who listens to music or who don't listen to music. And from the lyrics that the modern music we have, we know that how disgusting they are. If you read any of the lyrics of any music that are now in the top chart, you will understand how disgusting those messages are. Those messages talks about abuse, rape, violence, disturbing attitude towards other people, and disturbing practices i- which would which is which won't be any way acceptable if it was said or it was it was conveyed in a normal situation. However, as it is embedded with music, it is easier for people to accept it, easier for people to take it as a message, because you can preach any message you want if it is embedded in music, and it will be considered as art. And this is how actually the inception of music came. Shaitan invented music so he can convey the messages he want that are not actually acceptable in a form of speech, in a form of written document. So those ideas will not be acceptable in a civil society. So he invented music so it becomes acceptable. And even though many people, many Muslims do not believe it, subconsciously these messages um, will be inside their head when they hear those music. This is how Shaitan was able to normalize many things like premarital sex and lots of other things that are clearly in clash with Islam, but now Muslims are believing it. To Muslim is that it is an acceptable thing, and it all happened because of music. Music started the phenomena. Music made it normal, acceptable for people to accept it. And there is a incredible video you'll find in YouTube, which talks about the origin of Islam from Islamic perspective, and how Shaitan introduced Islam on the age of Idris alayhi salam, when, yeah, to promote the nasty ideas that he had for human. And if I talk about dancing, look look for and search for the history of dancing, and you will understand why Islam prohibits it. Dancing is closely related to religious practice. It were invented now 9,000 year back, or the written history suggests that the earliest hist- um, proof of dancing could be found in in India 9,000 years ago, and it was supposed to be a show of respect and obedience to their demon god, the idol worshipping. This practice still exists in many parts of the world. Tribal people do it, and the reason tribal people do it is because they imitate the entity, the demon god they are worshipping. That is why you will say that, see that dancing and the movements of these people are not same. There is vast difference in many parts of the world, and many parts, and the dancing style in many parts of the world. Dancing also has a very bad history. It is actually originated to objectify women, and it was a practice in our country that were introduced by Jamindar, who used to make the woman slave, um, or force the woman slave to dance naked without any clothes for their pleasure. So, Asifuzzaman, bro, do you want this kind of pleasure? I don't know. And this is why in Islam these practices are prohibited, because these are closely associated with either demonic rituals or either stuff that will that will separate you from God and keep you away from God. So, if you want to understand why Islam prohibited music, you have to be practicing. And this is not applicable for someone who is not Muslim, by the way, who is not practicing. If you are not practicing, if you are not performing salah, stopping or stop listening to music will not have any effect on you. It will have effect on you, I promise you, it will. If you are a practicing Muslim, if you pray 5 times a day, if you are not, if you are a jahil, then it won't have any effect. And yeah, I have explained why dancing is prohibited, because it is related to idol worshipping, and no religion and no the religion of true God will not allow a practice which is associated with idol worshipping, demon worshipping, which is clear shirk. And the part or the thing you said about drawing, drawing is not prohibited. This is a misconception. There are certain drawings that are prohibited. Islam gave birth, the golden age of Islam gave birth to some of the greatest architecture ever, who designed lots of incredible architects throughout the world. We can see the proof of it from our own subcontinent. There are great mosques, great structure, buildings, road, those are created by Muslim architectures. The first designer of aeroplane, first designer of a vehicle that can actually fly, could actually fly, was a Muslim. Muslim inventors drew, designed many things. There are calligraphies, there are artwork, incredible artwork done by Muslim artists throughout the world. Cordova, the cultural society, cultural birthplace of Muslim, had schools for Muslim artists where they were teaching Muslims how to do architecture, artwork, how to do different type of artwork. So saying that Islam is do not prohibit Islam do not allow drawing is a false statement. Thank you.